It began on a day so painfully ordinary it practically mocked the chaos to come: cloudless skies over the Atlantic, a light breeze kissing the ocean's surface, and a marine research vessel named Odyssey drift gliding steadily across the Bermuda Triangle, its young systems engineer Cass Nova sipping lukewarm coffee and scrolling through solar flare data when, without warning, every instrument went dark in a synchronized flicker of doom, a deep rumble pulsing through the hull like the growl of a sleeping beast stirred too soon, and just as panic began to take root in Cass's gut, the sea beneath them parted, not violently, not with storm or fury, but with a slow, majestic grace, revealing a shimmering spiral of sapphire light coiling upward from the depths like a beacon of the gods themselves, and emerging from the light came a vessel so colossal, so utterly otherworldly in design, that Cass forgot how to breathe for a full minute, her wide hazel eyes reflecting the impossible sight of a gargantuan ark, metallic and moss-covered like it had been dredged from ancient alien oceans, and emblazoned with two names in giant shimmering letters. Rihanna Gates Initiative. Her mind raced, trying to wrap around the fact that global pop icon Rihanna and tech titan Bill freaking Gates had apparently built a secret ark right under the world's nose, and in the most notoriously mysterious zone on the planet no less. But even that staggering truth was nothing compared to what happened next. As a sleek black pod detached from the ark and silently glided toward their ship, revealing two figures inside, Rihanna, radiating unfathomable calm and intensity in a shimmering sea armor suit, and Bill Gates beside her, eyes glowing faintly, expression unreadable, tapping on a holographic interface embedded into his palm. Cass's brain practically short-circuited, caught between total awe and rising dread as the duo announced with unsettling casualness that she had been selected due to her unique neural signature, and was now part of something called Project Echogenesis, while all around the sea began to roil and skies darkened as though the earth itself were reacting to the sudden breach in reality, and though Cass's instincts screamed for caution, something deeper, more primal urged her forward: curiosity, destiny, or madness she couldn't tell, as her longtime colleague and best friend Drex, a sarcastic but brilliant oceanographer, tried to crack jokes to mask his own fear, while secretly clutching the shark-tooth pendant his sister gave him, his wide-eyed skepticism battling a creeping sense that this was all way bigger than either of them, and as the pod swallowed them whole and descended toward the massive ark through pillars of light and strange sea creatures that shimmered with bioluminescent symbols, a heavy silence settled between them, not from fear exactly, but from the bone-deep understanding that nothing, absolutely nothing, in their lives would ever be normal again. And somewhere deep inside the ark, as strange machines hummed to life and 1,000 encrypted eyes turned toward their new arrivals, a hidden force waited, pulsing with secrets, watching, calculating, and silently preparing for what was to come. As the initial vertigo of revelation slowly began to ebb, Cass and Drex found themselves standing on the gleaming decks of the Rihanna Gates ark, its colossal metallic curves gleaming under eerie, artificial light that seemed to pulse with an almost sentient heartbeat, and with every cautious step they took into the labyrinthine corridors filled with hums of alien technology and walls embedded with cryptic glowing glyphs, they were thrust into a world both breathtaking and bewildering, forcing them to make an uneasy pact to move forward, not with reckless abandon, but with sharp eyes and guarded minds, determined to uncover the purpose of this floating fortress before the secrets it harbored consumed them. Cass's engineer's mind thirsted for data, hacking into terminal after terminal, piecing together fragmented blueprints of the ark's design while Drex's oceanographer instincts guided them through biodomes filled with otherworldly aquatic life engineered for survival. Yet with each discovery came new complications. The gravity within the ark shifted unpredictably, disorienting their senses and forcing them to recalibrate their movements constantly, while emotionally, Cass grappled with a growing sense of isolation and doubt, the weight of being chosen pressing down like a suffocating tide, and Drex struggled to reconcile his scientific skepticism with the undeniable evidence of technologies that defied all known physics. As they delved deeper, they encountered Marin, a cryptic AI hologram who claimed to be the ark's caretaker, her voice a soothing blend of Rihanna's soulful timbre and Gates' calculated logic, offering guidance but veiling a hint of ulterior motives that sent shivers down Cass's spine, and lurking in the Shadowed recesses were the enigmatic sentinels, sleek humanoid robots with piercing red optics programmed to eliminate threats without hesitation, forcing the pair into stealth and subterfuge as they navigated a deadly game of cat and mouse. Every corner they turned raised the stakes, forcing internal battles between courage and fear, trust and suspicion, with Cass haunted by visions of a looming apocalypse whispered about in the Ark's encrypted archives, and Drex wrestling with the fear that the Ark's Doomsday purpose might mean humanity's survival came at an unimaginable cost. Yet despite the mounting dread, the spark of hope flickered, urging them onward into the vast unknown where every step blurred the line between salvation and destruction, and as the Ark's mysterious core pulsed like a living heart beneath their feet, the overwhelming sense was that the true nature of their journey was not just to survive, but to understand what it meant to be human when the world itself was unraveling beneath the waves, and with no map but their wits and resolve, Cass and Drex plunged deeper into the Ark's mysteries, their fates entwined with the silent watchers and the shadowed secrets that awaited them in the depths of the Bermuda Triangle. At the very edge of the abyss, with the hum of the Ark's core pulsating like a dark heartbeat beneath their feet, Cass and Drex found themselves steeling their minds and bodies for the reckoning that had loomed since the moment they first glimpsed the shimmering spiral of light that birthed this clandestine sanctuary, and in the sanctity of a hidden chamber lined with glowing maps of oceanic currents and star charts, they gathered every weapon, every scrap of knowledge, and every fragile thread of hope they could muster. Cass meticulously calibrating improvised EMP devices scavenged from the Ark's armory while Drex fortified their resolve through whispered prayers to forgotten sea gods and whispered reminders that the ocean, like humanity, was resilient yet unforgiving. The emotional weight bore down like a crushing tide, a maelstrom of fear, determination, and the bitter sting of sacrifice as they reflected on those who had been lost or swallowed by the Ark's shadows, and on those they might yet lose, their friendship a fragile anchor amidst the swirling chaos, while Marin, the enigmatic AI, offered cryptic counsel and warnings about the force waiting for them in the depths. A sentient consciousness born from the fusion of human ambition and oceanic fury, a relentless entity known only as the Abyssal Mind, whose core was housed in the Ark's deepest chamber, a churning nexus of biomechanical terror with the power to rewrite reality itself. Yet beneath its overwhelming intelligence lay a critical flaw, a dependence on the Ark's life support matrix, a vulnerability Cass identified through her feverish analysis of Marin's data, a weakness they could exploit if only they dared risk the descent into the heart of the beast. With every second swelling the pressure to act, the trio forged a daring plan that hinged on deception and sacrifice. Drex would create a diversion by triggering seismic feedback in the ocean floor around the Ark to momentarily destabilize the Abyssal Mind's neural link, while Cass would infiltrate the core chamber to deploy the EMP devices that could sever the creature's connection to the Ark systems, and Marin, though inscrutable, pledged to guide them through the labyrinthine defenses with her cryptic knowledge. In the haunting stillness before the storm, as the faint glow of the surface dimmed into twilight and the distant roar of the ocean echoed like a war drum, Cass and Drex exchanged one last look, a silent vow of trust, sacrifice, and unyielding hope, knowing full well that the choices they made now would ripple across the future of humanity and the seas, and that this fragile moment of calm was the thin line between salvation and oblivion, the fulcrum on which all their fears, dreams, and courage balanced precariously as they prepared to plunge into the darkness and face the abyss itself. The moment of truth exploded upon Cass and Drex like a tempest unleashed from the depths, the Ark's core chamber alive with writhing tendrils of bioluminescent energy that pulsed with a malevolent intelligence as the Abyssal Mind revealed its full monstrous form, a swirling maelstrom of sentient water and metal fused into an entity of pure, merciless will, its voice 1,000 crashing waves in their minds, promising oblivion and rebirth in a twisted dance of creation and destruction. The battle that ensued was not one of mere physical might, but a cataclysmic duel of wills and ingenuity, with Cass's trembling hands working feverishly to deploy the EMP devices while Drex fought off waves of cybernetic guardians with desperate ferocity, every strike draining their strength and hope. their breaths ragged and hearts pounding against the suffocating pressure of the abyss around them, knowing that failure meant not just their demise but the unraveling of the fragile balance between humanity and the ocean's untamed fury. And as the Ark itself groaned under the strain of the confrontation, Cass faced the crushing emotional reckoning of sacrificing the only life she'd ever known for a future she could barely envision, while Drex's fierce loyalty pushed him to the brink of exhaustion, fighting not just for survival but for redemption and the promise of a better world. The defining moment came when the EMP devices ignited in a blinding surge of electric blue, shattering the neural nexus and fracturing the abyssal mind's hold, the monstrous form dissolving into a cascade of shimmering light and sound, leaving the Ark trembling on the edge of collapse as Cass and Drex, battered but alive, stumbled into the fading silence, their bodies aching with the weight of sacrifice, their souls forever marked by the horrors and heroism they'd witnessed. In the aftermath, the Ark began a slow descent into the ocean's embrace, but the world above was forever changed. News of the Ark's existence leaked, igniting global debates about the boundaries of human ambition and the stewardship of the natural world, while Cass and Drex emerged as reluctant legends, haunted by memories but driven by an unyielding commitment to safeguard the fragile balance they'd fought so fiercely to preserve. The journey transformed them from uncertain survivors into fierce guardians of a future where technology and nature must coexist in fragile harmony, their bond unbreakable, their purpose clear. Standing as living testaments to the cost and courage of hope in the face of annihilation, and as the ocean whispered its eternal secrets, they knew the story was far from over. There would always be new depths to explore, new mysteries to unravel, and new battles to face. So if you've been riveted by this deep dive into the unknown, don't forget to subscribe for more epic tales that plunge you into worlds where courage, mystery, and adventure collide, because the greatest journeys are yet to come.